Hello and welcome back everyone. My Exterminator is coming along nicely, I like to think. Mind you, there'll still be more work and fine-tuning to do for the front here, because these lighting effects are really stretched out to my liking. But now, let us get to working on the central body, I think. So what I need to do is try and remember what is an ideal piece to put on here to kind of connect it to it. Because I'm quite frankly do not remember what piece would be good for that, because I'm pretty certain there was a piece, I just don't know what it was. So actually it helps if I set the type there again. So I think it was just a carbon copy of the last piece. Well, that's going to be a bit of an annoyance. Is that going to be what I want? I'm not sure, because what I think will work there is if I have it like inverted there, not like that, but kind of upside down, shrink it in size. Of course, because I'm going to have two copies of these, so why not? It says I have to do that manually, don't I? So that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, but we'll see how it works. And work from there. And see how exactly it looks appearance-wise when I do get like the second half on top there. No, I don't want to stretch you out just yet, or shrink you rather. Just want to move you into place and adjust it accordingly, because apparently you're too high up. Is that going to do it though? How does it look on the bottom? It's not too shabby, actually. Might need to get lowered a little bit more. And of course now I can make a judgment about shrinking it down a tiny bit maybe. Because ideally a lot of this light effect's going to vanish over time. So how much higher do we want to be? I'll set it to 45, and I don't think I need to wind it too much more, so let's try another piece and see how that looks. Now I gotta find the exact same location I have it for, because I can't quite recall where the hell I had it for the first piece, so that's gonna be annoying. Like that is slightly rotate off, so I can get it straight up or position properly. It's just not going to make it a little bit more difficult than I would like to get the adjustment set up for. What am I saying? It's going to take more adjustment than I would probably like. Otherwise, what's the scaling again? 45, 62. I'm just curious to see how this will look, because this could be a nice simple way to make that component seem connected, and then I could put extra superstructure on top of it to kind of flesh it out some. At least that's the hope. Where it actually works that way is a different story, because now I gotta center it. And yeah, of course that's gonna be a little bit awkward. Part of the reason why I wish this wasn't, I made notes on where to connect it, because this obviously is not most ideal. And what's the set axis? I never did check that, did I? 71. So shrink that down to 71 and hope the scaling is accurate. And work from there. Also, I think there's a tiny bit of rotation needs to be done. Whoops, that wasn't what I wanted. So 1 degree rotation there, because I'm pretty certain that's what I did for the front portion, so of course the rotation here is weird too, because I see it going at angles sideways and that, which is not a good thing. Not what I'm very happy about. Okay, that actually doesn't seem too terribly bad. Now we're just going to add more bulk to it, a little bit more, kind of circular bulk, if I could somehow get that. And we're doing good for the center body. Still a question though. What exactly? Well, I already know what it is I want to look like there. I just don't know how wide I want it to be. So what's a good component? Because do I really want this component here? Because I would think I need multiples of them. I'm going to do that, right? I'm just trying to cheat or make a short, or yeah, cheat my way through this if I wanted to just do this with a single piece. Now, How would this look if I widen it? It's decent. The only problem, of course, is the blocky front. So we'll need a couple of small components to kind of round that out. Now, do I shrink it down and get rid of the metal frame? Well, it's kind of a flat pancake if I do it that way, don't I? Thankfully, I could just make a second copy there for underneath. And let's see. There's a few ways I could do this here, because I can move this up, this metal frame here. That's decent. Now, how do I want to adjust it further? Do I stretch out longer? Do I make it higher? Or not? Because I'm trying to envision what's the best way about this. Because we got a little bit this odd metal frame here. Just a little bit. We got some more metal frame here, which makes me kind of wonder if I want to stretch this component here for the very front back to kind of help sink in more. The problem, of course, being everything is moving with it. That adjusts the height, doesn't it? Nope, not quite. Not that I can see anyway. So it is moving everything else though, so that's a bit of a problem. Just a tiny bit. Yes, well, of course when I try and move it back, it's going to move this component back, it's going to move the rest back, so not as simple as I would like. Let's see how that looks. A little better. A little better. It at least masks the metal piece underneath. So I'm not too bad. I can live with that to an extent. Now, how the hell do I continue with this here? Because I need to add some like circular. I want to add like a circular structure to it there, which means I want to add a little more to the side here to where this superstructure is at. I wonder, is there a way I can use these engines, but just like a top portion of them? Because they kind of got like that pseudo shell piece to them, but hide the actual engine portion. An even bigger question, do I invert it? Maybe that will work better. I wonder. Of course, as I scale it down, I need to adjust it. So how does that look when I sink it in? Now stretch it out. The set axis. Of course, you have to make this difficult, don't you? I just hoped you would have just stretched it out back, the back end there for me, rather than have to readjust entirely. Okay, how does that seem? Just the bit of the metal trim. That's my only complaint. So, if I move it up, does that help with it any? Let's see, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. The metal frame kind of connects to there. It's just, of course, not the same thickness, which could be a very minor issue. But I'm okay with that. Now, I think I want a copy of it. Of course, it already has a copy, so I can't really mirror it down below it, which is going to stink. Which I kind of find funny that I don't have a mirror copy. Now that I think of it, why is there no copy down here? Unless I only have... Yeah, that's a singular piece there. What on earth did I just attach them to that's only a single piece? Oh. Did I end up attaching them to these things? Maybe that's what it was. Either way, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll leave the bottom there, because that lighting there is going to kind of show it as the underbelly. I don't think I need that too much there. It's just that back portion now we need to kind of expand upon. So, what can I add to that now here? This component here seems like a natural choice. Whether I can make it fit properly is the question. That's not bad. It's already like a proper sizing. I don't know if I want the tail as long as it is, though. Is that what I want? And I also want to be careful maybe of the metal trim. Kind of intruding there, so I might need to shrink down the set axis some, obviously. To kind of help negate that some. But is there any reason to have that stick out there? And of course, oh, never mind, the bottom portion's showing as well, so never mind. I saw it, for some reason the bottom half was sunk in more than the top. Okay. Well, if nothing else, that got us a starting point to continue on here. So, what kind of blocky structure would be good? Because I don't want to use the same one I just used, so maybe I could try something different here. If I can use this portion to attach to the side here, then start curving inward, maybe that will look good. Sadly, there's not like a singular piece. Okay, there we go. Just as I said that, I found it. That kind of would center it there without giving me like a quadruple pieces to have to play around with. So, let's play with this a bit here. I'll drop it down to 60. Move into place and see how it looks at first glance. I just don't know if I really want to narrow it, but this looks like a good start. It fits in there relatively well, not a perfect fit, mind you. It looks like it's not even quite centered. Alright, where the hell was I after that itchy cough fit there? Oh yeah, putting this component on here, trying to center, considering if I want to fill it out completely or not. I think I want to try to completely fill out because I don't like the idea of there being a gap. But then again, I could probably put something in there if needed. So, is that centered? It looks as centered as it could be. Yeah, that's as centered as it's going to be, otherwise that little light portion is going to show up on top. So, how do I think of it? I kind of want to narrow it down, which of course is going to get me that gap again I dislike. That's the only concern there. But otherwise, I like the potential. So that metal frame's hitting tiny gap, which is a minor concern. I guess if I have to, I could fill it with something else. So, now, how do I want to continue on with this? Do I rotate inward more? That makes it a little too bulbous. Because especially that seems to make me think that's like the end where the engine would be, and I don't want that. So, but when I have it like this, it looks a little better. I just don't know what the proper angle I want is. I like the potential though. How the hell can I make this look seamless though? It seems like I have a big task ahead of me trying to do that. So let's play with the angles a bit here. Try and see. Yeah, because if I curve it in too much, it makes me feel like that's the ending point. I don't know if I like that thought process just yet. The ship would be coming along too well if that's the case, and that's what worries me. I had such a hassle or at least feels like with the Guardian, with that top half, the shell. Something of this same scale shouldn't be that simple, right? So, how can I continue on here? I don't think this wing component is going to do anything for me. I just know I was looking at some of the ship designs there and saw the creative uses they use for these wing components, so I have no idea if I'm going to be able to put it to the use I would like, but I am curious to see if I can at least experiment with it some, so I can at least maybe learn a trick or two how to utilize these things besides for just cause actual wings. Because some of the Iconian ships have really interesting use of their wings. So, just trying to learn from that. Although it doesn't really solve anything, does it now? Aside from masking the issue that I'm having. But like I said, I want to experiment with it some. Because it's probably going so well, the building process. Although just moving around is a bit of a pain in the ass, I will say on that. Now, if I can get another component like that, how will that look? Let me just remember scaling. I don't even remember where I put that, connected that, which stinks. So let's try this again. Okay, I think that was the component there. or where I want to connect it. So 20, 29, 56. Alright, let's see. 20, 29, and 56? I can't remember. Because I like to think, maybe if I can flush this out a bit, that'll help get rid of like the circular issue I might have with trying to get the rest of the back in. And I think this was 58, wasn't it? Time to double check. It would make it a lot more simpler though if it could just give me 4 quad pieces, or at least the option to make copies of it. Bit of an annoyance that I can't really do that. 20, 29, 56. Okay, so drop it down to get the rotation, all that figured out. 322. That's going to be a hassle to remember. Especially since it doesn't want to tell me what it is. Okay, 322. Okay. Okay, that should be... Oh wait, it's the wrong axis, I just realized. So, this is going to be annoying. Because I'm trying to... I can't... Let's see. 322, so I guess 36. So it's about 40-ish. 38. Around there. Hopefully that'll do. It looks good. Now we just gotta figure out the positioning. Which is why I was just saying a moment ago, why I think it would make things a little bit easier if it still allowed me that option. 178, okay. 17, that's definitely not the right positioning. I'm gonna put it out on a limb right now. So, I'm gonna have to figure that out. 117. Oh wait, no, that looks pretty good there, or pretty damn close anyway. Although set axis is off. Okay, 8. Even though apparently that's not enough. So set axis is completely off. So there might be a slight misalignment here. So what's a good way to kind of figure out where I want it to be? Because that makes me paranoid about the rest of the positioning issue here. Because it looks like it might be off a tiny bit with the X here. Just a tiny bit. I'm not sure just yet. Okay, is that enough? It's really hard to tell. And I have no easy way to find out if it's in the proper position. So I guess I'm just gonna have to wing it. It doesn't look too bad, but again, now I still need something to connect it there. That's the big issue. So effectively, I did not accomplish anything. That's what it feels like right now. So I kind of just want to put a blocky component in the middle there, just to add something, if nothing else, to connect to. Again, I want type. Thank you. So what would be a good way to put here? Potentially this would be good for the end, maybe, for where the engines would be. But we gotta get to that point first. So I did have a thought for something, I just can't remember what it was. Oh, the engine. I was thinking maybe, if I can cover up this engine properly, maybe this would make a good blocky structure. Only issue is the metal frame. And the fact I got doubles, which is a bit of an annoyance too. Would this work? Does it even matter, considering it's probably going to be covered up completely. And I gotta find a... Well, everything here is copies, so I need to find... I don't think there's anything to connect to that's not going to be duplicated, so I may have shot myself in the foot a little bit here trying to do this. Because everything's going to be a copy. So this is going to be a nightmare waiting to happen. Trying to figure out this mess. So is there anything interesting I can do with this? That's what I'm curious. And I better zoom it back. Come on, where the hell are you? Okay, there, that's better. That looks like a nice connection point to something, I just don't know for what. Because no one's going to really get to see it. But it fits there well once I get the proportional scaling done to widen it up. Do I even need to widen up? I'm not sure. I'm not really sure, but it seems if there's going to be anything exposed of it, there's going to seem like it fits there pretty well, even though it serves no real function other than that. So this is ultimately a futile attempt to try and make something at least look appropriate, because really just the standard block would have done for me here. Oh well, and there's shifting textures as a result. So now, how much do I want to stick out there? And is there any purpose for that? Because if nothing else, even if I were to leave it open somewhat, that piping there with all that would seem pretty deliberate as far as design concept. So it opens up the opportunity of not completely enclosing it, if nothing else. But now I gotta figure out how the hell to get the engine blocks connected. And how do I feel about the link so far? It's good. It's good so far. I just need like another section the same length as these side components here, and then I think we're good as far as the overall design or scale of the ship. Only thing is I don't know what would be a good piece or component for that. Because I don't want the block structure, because I think I'm going to use two of them to try and give it a good width, maybe. Something circular. This wouldn't do it, no. I'm going to need a moment here to think about this, because what I want is to start making like little sections or pods where the engines are going to be connected to, and I want there to be like 4 different sets of thrusters on each side, or well, in total 2 on the left and 2 on the right. So I want something to eventually widen into those thruster pods, and this seems like it would be too wide unless I narrowed it. Not to mention I might have a bit of a hassle trying to connect to everything. I'm not really certain. Not really certain what I want to do, because I already decided what kind of engine I would like to experiment with first. Let's see, are these... Yeah, I think I want these to have the multiple engines. Have like 2 on each side there. 4 quadrants, kind of like the front portion, but now we gotta work into position it. So I think what I want to do actually is, if I could find a good if I can actually connect it, that would be a good start. I find it funny how it highlights blue, yet can't actually click into that place. There, that's better. Maybe if I just focus on putting the engines in place first, that might help some. Again, the issue I have here is I'm gonna have to rotate them and make a copy of them again. So I have to do this process twice, which is gonna be a bit of an annoyance. And I'll have to actually remember, what did I connect it to? I connected it to this component here in the middle, didn't I? Or at least attempted to. What I actually did is a different story altogether. So, let me just get positioning right that I would like for this thing. And since it's rotated, I'm going to have to adjust this some, because it doesn't seem perfectly centered. Might have to adjust this some. So let's see. Let me get my 4 engines, like I just said, and figure out how to go from there. Okay, I think I got the right component there. So, we'll move this into place as well. Let me just get the set axis 14.9. Get it up there, up on the higher scale, ideally in the same spot as the mirrored spot for the bottom portions, 3.2 and 1. See how that looks. And of course I gotta rotate the other way. That's obviously not quite centered. I'm just gonna put it out right now. So how do I well, there's no real simple way to center it, but there's my engines. The question is, how far back do I want to be? I think that's too far back, if I were to be honest, so Almost at a point where I wonder if I should just connect them to this superstructure here. Which I'm not sure how would be a good way to go about that. Unless I flip around the other way. Let's see. I don't think I like that potentially. Because I want to... I'm not sure why I don't like it though. Only reason... I think I like the potential style of them flipped upside down like that. Whereas the other way... I'm not really sure. Maybe if I flip both the components there, maybe I'll have a different opinion about it. I guess that's okay there, and it lowers these components down. Now, do I move them in together closer or not? Well, obviously I'll have to change the scaling some. Otherwise we're going to have a massive problem with sinking in together. So that's also another concern there. 80, that should hopefully work a little bit better. I'm going to have to think a little bit on that, of course, like I said. But I see a potential, like, superstructure component to connect the 4 engines together at least. Now, do I want it to be a circular piece or a square one? Or do I just... Well, I gotta... The big problem is to try and find a singular piece. Everything here is practically replicated. I don't think there's any singular piece except for the very front, actually. And even that's like angled in weird, like... I don't know, is this what I want? I want to make sure there's no copies. It's just connected in a really odd angle. So now I have to adjust, I guess. And figure out what rotation all that I need. Because it's the front, very front component's kind of odd. And because it's connected, it started off sideways. These X and Y axes are, again, just like everything else, going to be a bit of a nightmare. But if these can connect together and it doesn't look too intrusive, then we're doing good. It's kind of wide, my big concern is now. So I think I need to move these engines closer together. Just a little bit. Now what was that? 2.5, so 2.5, let's see. Not quite centered. Again, that's going to be a hassle, isn't it? Moral story there, so far. And now, what do I do for this very back portion? Because I don't like it completely flat at the end there. So, can I, let me just, maybe I can just connect this into the superstructure there. There'll still need to be more work, mind you, like flushing out, because that's going to be pretty rough. And now, let's see how this seems. See if I'm not going crazy and actually getting something done with this. It seems too small compared to everything else. Initial opinion. Yeah, it's way too small. I need to figure out how to make this bigger. Which means scaling goes back to 100. Like it was before. And now I have to figure out how I'm going to get that component, the engines, to connect with this back portion. And even more bigger question, how I'm going to make that look appropriate. Because I think that I still, like I said, need another component superstructure there. I like where the ship is going ultimately. It just needs something else to kind of widen it back out me, or at least connect to the engines. That's really all I feel there is to it. I don't want them to be all dead centered. I want them to kind of be spread out a little bit. Gonna have to think on this a bit.